Curly Howard, born Jerome Lester Horwitz on October 22nd, 1903 in Brooklyn, New York, came from a working-class Jewish family. Growing up in the shadow of his more assertive brothers, Curly was naturally shy and reserved, traits that contrasted sharply with his later on-screen persona. However, it didn't take long for his family to recognize that Curly had an extraordinary gift for making people laugh. His comedic talent was raw and instinctive, allowing him to captivate audiences without formal training. Curly's ability to transform into a larger-than-life character in front of an audience was what ultimately set him apart. His journey to stardom began with local theatre performances, where he honed his slapstick skills before joining the Three Stooges, a decision that would change his life forever. The birth of Curly's iconic persona in the Three Stooges. Curly's life would take a dramatic turn when he officially joined the Three Stooges in 1932, replacing his brother Shemp Howard, who left to pursue a solo career. It was at this point that Curly adopted his clean-shaven look, thanks to Moe and showman Ted Healy's suggestion. Initially reluctant, Curly's new image, characterized by a high-pitched voice, exaggerated facial expressions, and unique catchphrases, became iconic. He quickly became the standout star of the group, with his physical comedy and energetic antics capturing audiences' hearts. His performances were not just about slapstick, they were about timing, character, and commitment to absurdity. Films like Punch Drunks, 1934, and Disorder in the Court, 1936, showcased his unmatched ability to bring chaos to life with humour. Curly was not only a centerpiece of the trio, he elevated their work to an art form, becoming a beloved figure in American comedy. Curly's personal struggles, the man behind the laughter. While Curly's on-screen persona was all about fun and energy, his personal life told a different, more turbulent story. Curly's first marriage, which occurred before he gained national recognition, ended in divorce after only 5 months, setting the tone for many of his relationships. Despite his rising fame, Curly sought emotional stability through fleeting romances, often driven by a need for affection and validation. In 1937, he married Elaine Orr, a union that lasted a few years and resulted in the birth of their daughter, Marilyn. However, the pressures of Curly's demanding career and his increasingly erratic lifestyle led to the collapse of this marriage in 1940. This marked the beginning of a series of personal struggles, including worsening health and emotional turmoil, as Curly's once vibrant life began to spiral out of control. Health decline and strain from the demands of fame. By the time Curly divorced Elaine, his health had already begun to deteriorate. He had always been prone to weight fluctuations, but during this period, his weight gain became more pronounced and his overall health began to suffer. In addition to his physical issues, Curly developed hypertension, a condition exacerbated by his grueling work schedule. As the Three Stooges continued their work, they also performed live shows for military personnel during World War II, a physically demanding tour that left Curly increasingly exhausted. The constant travel, multiple performances per day, and physical routines wore him down. Despite these growing health concerns, the studio pushed Curly to continue performing, fearing that his absence would impact the trio's popularity. Curly's physical deterioration continued to worsen, but the pressure of fame and work made it difficult for him to take the rest he desperately needed. Curly's struggles with personal habits and financial mismanagement. Curly's health was not the only aspect of his life that was spiraling out of control. He developed a reputation for excessive drinking, seeking solace in alcohol and other indulgences to cope with the pressures of his personal and professional life. His late-night escapades at nightclubs and bars only added to the toll on his body. Furthermore, Curly's financial habits were equally reckless. Despite earning a decent income, he spent money impulsively buying expensive meals, alcohol, jewelry, and property on a whim. This financial mismanagement brought him close to bankruptcy several times. Recognizing the severity of the situation, Moe Howard, Curly's older brother and fellow stooge, stepped in to help. Moe took on the responsibility of managing Curly's finances, ensuring that some semblance of financial stability remained, even as Curly's health and personal life continued to decline. Curly's final marriage and search for stability. In an attempt to find stability, Curly entered into a brief but intense marriage with Marion Buxbaum in 1945. The couple wed after just 2 weeks of courtship, but the relationship quickly turned sour. Constant arguments and emotional discord characterized their 9-month marriage, and the divorce was both publicly humiliating and personally devastating. The stress of the divorce, combined with Curly's declining health, worsened his condition significantly. Just 2 months before the divorce was finalized, Curly suffered a massive stroke, an event that brought his career to an abrupt halt. Although Curly attempted a comeback with a cameo in the 1947 short Hold That Lion, his health continued to deteriorate. His physical and cognitive abilities rapidly declined, and Curly was no longer able to perform at the level that once made him a beloved star. A final chapter of love and support. Despite his health struggles, Curly found a sense of peace in his final marriage to Valerie Newman in 1947. This relationship proved to be the most stable of his life. With Valerie by his side, Curly found the emotional support he had long been searching for. The couple welcomed a daughter, Janie, in 1948, giving Curly a renewed sense of purpose and joy. Although his health continued to decline, Valerie remained a steadfast source of love and support, helping care for Curly during his final years. Their relationship provided Curly with the companionship he had long desired, offering a sense of stability in the face of his ongoing physical deterioration. This chapter of his life, marked by genuine affection and mutual care, was the one bright spot in an otherwise tumultuous existence. Curly's decline and the shocking reality behind the laughter. For decades, fans have cherished the comedic brilliance of Curly Howard, the lovable, energetic stooge who brought joy to millions. However, the true story behind his decline remained hidden for many years. Recent revelations, including medical records and family correspondence, have uncovered the tragic reality of Curly's final years. Curly Howard, once a vibrant comic force, suffered from a range of mental and physical health issues that were largely ignored or misunderstood by those around him. His struggles with depression, loneliness, and bipolar disorder went unaddressed, and his erratic behavior was often chalked up to the pressures of fame. Alcohol was a coping mechanism for his inner turmoil, and his deteriorating health was ignored by the studio, which prioritized profits over his well-being. This neglect only worsened Curly's condition, ultimately leading to his tragic early death in 1952 at the age of 48. The truth about Curly's decline and Hollywood's neglect. The mystery surrounding Curly Howard's decline is no longer a mystery. New insights into his medical history and the studio's handling of his condition reveal a devastating story of neglect. Rather than receiving proper medical care, Curly was pushed to continue performing despite experiencing multiple strokes and warning signs of his condition. Studio memos from the period show that Curly's health issues were covered up to avoid public concern, and the studio pushed him to keep performing for the sake of the Three Stooges' success. Moe Howard, Curly's brother, tried to advocate for him, but the system was designed to prioritize profits over the health of its stars. In the end, Curly's decline was a result of a broken system that failed to care for one of its most beloved performers. The legacy of Curly Howard. A tragic but important story. Curly Howard's legacy as a comedic icon is undeniable. His high-energy performances and physical humor continue to make audiences laugh to this day. However, the recent revelations about his life and decline paint a much more complex and tragic picture. Curly's story is a reminder of the price of fame in an era that demanded laughter at all costs. While he made millions laugh, he suffered in silence, with his struggles ignored by both the public and the industry. The truth behind Curly's decline is heartbreaking, but it is also important. It forces us to reconsider how we treat our heroes both on and off the screen, and reminds us that even those who make us laugh the hardest often face the greatest challenges in their own lives.